Have you ever had that moment when you're just sitting there, sipping your morning drink, and you wonder, is this cup helping me, or could it be quietly hurting me? Maybe you've heard that coffee is good for you, or maybe someone told you green tea is the way to go. And if you're like most people over 60, you're trying to do the right thing for your health, especially when it comes to serious issues like fatty liver or even cancer. Let's face it, our bodies change as we age. We can't eat the same way we did in our 30s. Our liver, that hard-working organ just under your rib cage, suddenly becomes the star of the show, and not always in a good way. Fatty liver, which used to be rare in older adults who didn't drink, has now become incredibly common. And the scary part? It often creeps up silently. No pain, no symptoms, until it's too late. Now here's the good news. There are simple, natural ways to help reverse fatty liver. And believe it or not, the secret might already be in your kitchen. That daily cup you hold in your hand every morning, it could be your best friend or your silent enemy. Today, we're going to uncover the real truth about coffee and green tea. Which one helps your liver? Which one lowers your cancer risk? And which one might you want to cut back on, depending on your unique needs? This isn't about picking a side. It's about understanding how to use these drinks as tools for your well-being. You don't need to throw everything out and start from scratch. Small changes, done consistently, can create powerful shifts in your health. Let's start by talking about fatty liver, because this condition is far more common than most people think. Even if you've never touched alcohol, you can still have what doctors call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. It happens when fat builds up inside the liver cells, making it harder for your liver to do its job, like filtering toxins, breaking down food, and supporting digestion. Over time, if left untreated, fatty liver can turn into inflammation, scarring, and even liver cancer. But here's what makes this conversation exciting. Studies now show that certain lifestyle choices, especially what you drink, can either accelerate or reverse this process. And that brings us to our first major player, coffee. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Coffee? Isn't that bad for my heart? Or maybe you've been told to cut down because of your blood pressure. But here's where it gets interesting. Researchers have found that coffee, when consumed in moderation and without loads of sugar or cream, actually has a protective effect on the liver. In fact, people who drink 2 to 3 cups of black coffee a day have a significantly lower risk of developing fatty liver, cirrhosis, and even liver cancer. The compounds in coffee, especially something called chlorogenic acid, help reduce inflammation and support the liver's ability to break down fat. It's almost like giving your liver a little extra team of helpers each time you take a sip. And the caffeine? It can stimulate bile production, which helps move fat through the liver instead of letting it pile up. But there's a catch. Not all coffee is created equal. If your cup is loaded with flavored syrups, heavy creamers, or artificial sweeteners, the benefits can quickly disappear. Think of those sugary lattes as wolves in sheep's clothing. They might taste good, but they quietly load your body with extra sugar and fat, which is the last thing your liver needs. So, if you love your coffee, the goal is to enjoy it smartly. Black coffee or coffee with just a splash of plant-based milk is a great choice. If you like it sweet, try a sprinkle of cinnamon instead of sugar. Your taste buds will adjust over time, and your liver will thank you for it. But coffee isn't the only player in this story. Let's bring in the other contender, green tea. This one has been around for thousands of years. In traditional Asian cultures, green tea is more than a drink. It's a daily ritual, a healing practice. And science is starting to catch up with what our ancestors already knew. Green tea contains powerful antioxidants called catechins, especially one called EGCG, that help reduce liver fat lower inflammation, and even fight off cancer cells before they have a chance to grow. Think of these antioxidants like a cleaning crew for your body. They sweep through your system, neutralizing harmful molecules that can damage your cells over time. But here's what's really fascinating. Green tea has also been shown to lower levels of ALT and AST. Those are enzymes doctors measure to see how stressed your liver is. When those numbers go down, it's usually a sign that your liver is healing. And many older adults have found that drinking 1 or 2 cups of green tea a day helped with bloating, digestion, and even stubborn belly fat, which is often tied to fatty liver. One more bonus? Green tea also helps improve insulin sensitivity, which means your body uses sugar more effectively. That's huge, especially if you're dealing with prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or just trying to manage your weight as the years go by. Now, you might be wondering, should I drink coffee and green tea? Or just pick one? And how much is too much? That's a great question, and the answer isn't one size fits all. It depends on your body, your lifestyle, and your unique health picture. But before we get to that, let's pause for a moment and think about this. Just the simple act of swapping out one sugary drink a day, maybe a soda or a processed juice, for a warm cup of green tea or black coffee could start tipping the scales in your liver's favor. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. It starts with 1 cup, 1 decision, 1 gentle step forward. Because here's the truth. At our age, we're not just drinking for pleasure, we're drinking with purpose. Every choice we make can either add to our health or quietly take from it. And once you understand how powerful these daily habits are, you'll never look at your cup the same way again. Now, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when it comes to drinks like coffee and green tea. How we drink them and when. Because it's not just what you put in your cup that matters. It's the timing, the intention, and how your body responds throughout the day. For instance, let's say you're used to starting your morning with a cup of coffee, maybe even 2. That's fine for many people. But if you've ever noticed feeling jittery, anxious, or getting an upset stomach, especially before breakfast, it might be your body telling you it needs a gentler start. You see, as we age, our stomach lining becomes a little more sensitive. Caffeine on an empty stomach can spike cortisol, your stress hormone, and that's not what we want first thing in the morning. A better approach might be to have a light breakfast first, something with a bit of fiber and protein, and then enjoy your coffee. This gives your body a cushion so it can absorb the caffeine more gently while still delivering all those wonderful liver-protecting benefits. Now, on the other hand, green tea works differently. It has caffeine too, but in much smaller amounts. It also contains something called L-theanine, which helps calm the nervous system. That's why many people say green tea gives them a smooth, focused kind of energy, without the spike and crash that coffee sometimes brings. Green tea can be an especially good companion in the afternoon. That's the time of day when many of us hit a little slump. You know the feeling. You've had lunch, maybe done a few chores, and then around 2 or 3 o'clock, your body starts whispering, "Nap time?" Instead of reaching for sugary snacks or another round of coffee, a warm cup of green tea can give you just the lift you need without disrupting your sleep later on. Because sleep is another huge part of this story. Your liver does a lot of its work at night. While you're resting, your liver is busy breaking down toxins, managing blood sugar, and processing fats. But if your sleep is poor, if you're waking up often, tossing and turning, or going to bed too late, your liver misses out on that critical healing window. And here's the twist. Too much caffeine too late in the day can interfere with deep sleep. Even if you fall asleep easily, your body may not enter the most restorative stages of rest. That's why many people over 60 find it helpful to set a personal caffeine cutoff. a time in the day after which they switch to herbal tea or warm water with lemon. So yes, coffee and green tea are powerful, but they work best when we partner with them, not just gulp them down out of habit. Now, let's bring in another key piece of the puzzle: your liver's love for hydration. This might surprise you, but both coffee and green tea are actually mild diuretics. That means they increase the amount of urine your body produces, which can lead to more frequent bathroom trips and more fluid loss. It's nothing to worry about in small amounts, but it does mean you need to balance it with plenty of water throughout the day. A well-hydrated liver is a happy liver. Water helps flush out toxins, supports digestion, and keeps your blood flowing smoothly. If you're drinking coffee or green tea regularly, and especially if you take medications that affect the kidneys, it's extra important to sip on water between your cups. A good rule of thumb: for every cup of coffee or green tea, follow it with a glass of water. It's a small habit that can make a big difference. And while we're here, let's talk about what's going into your coffee and tea. Because sometimes the problem isn't the drink, it's what we're adding to it. Sugar, artificial sweeteners, flavored creamers. These are the real culprits that sneak in extra calories, increase inflammation, and make fatty liver worse. That daily teaspoon of sugar may not seem like much, but over time, it adds up. And the same goes for those flavored creamers that promise vanilla delight or caramel swirl. Many of them are packed with hidden trans fats and chemicals that your liver has to work overtime to process. If you're someone who loves a sweet or creamy drink, don't worry. There are healthier swaps. A touch of unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or even coconut milk can add that creamy texture without the heavy load. And if you like a little sweetness, try raw honey, a few drops of stevia, or even cinnamon. These small adjustments can turn your cup into a healing ritual instead of a hidden health risk. And speaking of rituals, I want you to think about your coffee or tea time as more than just a beverage. Think of it as a moment of care, a chance to pause, breathe, and give your body something that nourishes instead of depletes. Whether it's that first quiet sip in the morning or that mid-afternoon reset, use that time to check in with yourself. How are you feeling? What does your body need today? These little moments of awareness go a long way in building lifelong health. Now, I want to say something important here. If you've been drinking your coffee or tea a certain way for years, and you're realizing now that maybe it hasn't been the best for your health, don't beat yourself up. This isn't about guilt or blame. It's about learning, adjusting, and moving forward with more confidence. Your body is incredibly resilient, and no matter your age, it's never too late to give it what it truly needs. There's one more powerful truth that brings everything together, and it might surprise you. When it comes to reversing fatty liver and lowering cancer risk, it's not about choosing just coffee or green tea. It's about using both wisely, like tools in your toolbox, each with their own unique strengths. Coffee shines when it comes to reducing the risk of liver fibrosis and cirrhosis. That's the scarring that can happen when fatty liver goes unchecked for too long. Some studies have even shown that regular coffee drinkers, those who stick to about 2 to 3 cups a day, can lower their risk of liver cancer by up to 40%. That's a pretty big deal. Now, on the flip side, green tea steps in as a gentle warrior against inflammation, oxidative stress, and the slow cellular damage that can eventually lead to cancer, not just in the liver, but in other organs too. Thanks to its rich antioxidants, especially EGCG, green tea supports your body's ability to fight off abnormal cells before they become a serious threat. So instead of choosing sides, you can actually build a daily rhythm that includes both without overdoing it. You might start your morning with a small cup of coffee after breakfast, letting it wake up your mind and get your metabolism moving. Then, in the afternoon when your energy dips, A soothing cup of green tea can gently lift you without interfering with your sleep. Some folks even enjoy an evening cup of decaf green tea, which still offers many of the antioxidants without the caffeine. It's a simple way to end the day with something warm, comforting, and healing. Just think of it as giving your liver a little thank you before bedtime. But here's where it gets really personal. None of this matters unless you actually enjoy the process. Because if you force yourself to drink something you hate or follow some health trend that feels like a punishment, it's not going to last. And the truth is, long-term health is built on small habits done consistently, not perfectly. So ask yourself, what feels good? What fits naturally into your day? Maybe you already love coffee but want to cut back just a bit. Or maybe green tea is new to you and you're still figuring out which type you like. There's jasmine, matcha, sencha, and so many others. Try a few. Play around with the flavors, temperatures, and times of day. Find the balance that makes you feel better. Now, while coffee and green tea are powerful allies, they're not miracle cures. They work best as part of a bigger picture, one that includes healthy food, regular movement, good sleep, and a positive mindset. If you're dealing with fatty liver, one of the best things you can do is reduce added sugars and processed foods. That means easing up on sodas, packaged snacks, and white bread. These foods sneak in extra fat that settles in the liver over time, especially if you're not burning it off. Try focusing on colorful fruits and vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats like olive oil and avocado, and lean proteins like fish or legumes. These foods don't just help your liver, they help every part of your body age more gracefully. And if exercise feels like a chore these days, remember, it doesn't have to be intense to be effective. Even gentle walks after meals, stretching in the morning, or light dancing in the living room can get your blood flowing and help your liver clear out toxins. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Now, let's touch on something that doesn't always get talked about, but makes all the difference: stress. When we carry stress for too long, especially emotional stress, it affects our entire system, including the liver. That's because chronic stress triggers inflammation and slows digestion. And when digestion slows, toxins start to build up. This is where tea time becomes even more powerful. Taking even 10 or 15 minutes to sit quietly with a warm drink, away from the news, away from noise, just focusing on your breath or a peaceful thought. That's not just relaxing, that's medicine. That's healing from the inside out. And sometimes, the biggest change starts not with what's in your cup, but how you show up for yourself each day. Do you speak to yourself with kindness? Do you believe your body is worth caring for, even if you've made some mistakes in the past? Because here's the truth, your past choices don't define you. It doesn't matter if you drank soda for 40 years or skipped your vegetables more often than not. What matters is that you're here now, paying attention, ready to take steps toward a better future. That takes courage. That deserves respect. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Start small. Switch one drink a day. Try a new kind of tea. Cut back on just one spoonful of sugar. These are the kinds of choices that add up, not in weeks, but in months and years. And they create momentum. They create hope. So, if you're wondering, is it really possible to reverse fatty liver after 60? Or, can I really lower my cancer risk with something as simple as what I drink? The answer is yes. Absolutely yes. But it's not just what's in your cup. It's the care behind the cup. It's the intention, the consistency, the love you show your body day by day. I want you to feel empowered, not overwhelmed, because you don't need to chase the next trendy superfood or magic cure. Often, the best remedies are the simplest, and they've been sitting right there on your kitchen counter all along. So go ahead, enjoy your coffee, sip your tea, Let those daily moments remind you that you're still growing, still healing, still moving forward. Age doesn't define your health. Your habits do. And if this video helped you see things in a new light, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. What's your go-to drink? Have you made changes that made you feel better? Let's learn from each other. And of course, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, practical, uplifting, and designed just for you. Here's to your health, your happiness, and to living fully, one cup at a time.